You're watching Lee Jasper Drive Time here on Aparat TV. You remember the case of Gwenton Sloley? You must remember something like 20-odd thousand hits on my own channel, Lee Jasper's channel. We're doing part 2 of that interview today. Leading anti-gang practitioner, was member of a huge gang here in London, went to jail, did his time, came out, got educated, turned his life around, and ended up being an anti-gang consultant working with national police services and local authorities around the country to intervene with families who either suffered a tragic death of a teenager through serious youth violence or indeed had been vulnerable or were vulnerable to getting sucked into knife crime. And he's generally seen as the one of the most foremost anti-gang, anti-violence practitioners here in the United Kingdom. That's the guy the police decided to raid on a drug offence. That's the guy who has had his bail extended 7 times without any seeming prospect of charge. That's the guy that sent shudders through the whole of London as those working on gangs, with gangs, seeking to reduce violence, looked at each other and said, are we going to get raided by the Metropolitan Police Service? And you're going to hear part 2 of Gwenton Sloley's channel exclusively here on Lee Jasper's Drive Time.
Hi, my name's Lee Jasper. This is Brixton, London, and you're watching Lee Jasper Drive Time.
I deliver a lot of consultancy work to different local authorities around London. I also train the police and local authorities across the country. And one of my smallest contracts that I've had for some years in Lewisham, we had a case in, I think it was either July or August last year, where a young man, which was one of my clients' younger brother, burnt to death in a fire. And subsequently, a lot of people should have lost their jobs or even resigned on the back of that. No one resigned, so they thought that it was just normal procedure, like when we've got 16, 17-year-olds and 20-year-olds dying from knife crime. To me, that was a 7-year-old kid burnt to death in the house. We all knew that the young man was at risk and everything else. The mum went in pleading 4 days before for support, and her support fell on deaf ears. She then lost her son. I then said to them at the end of a weekly meeting, we could have prevented that, because I told you that the family was at risk. Although you were telling me, oh yeah, but the son's a drug dealer, it doesn't matter whether it's a drug dealer or gang member, you're still meant to protect the family and they're crying out. From then, there was bad blood between me and certain people in local authority and the police, because it's like, wait a minute, normally when youths die, no one say anything, but to me, this is a baby, someone have to talk up. And then on the 2nd of October, someone called me, they want to get the person sacked, and said, Gwenton, be careful, because these people are going to try to stitch you up. The 4th of October, my birthday, I've left my house and I'm going out to deliver training. I then get a phone call from my neighbour to say that the police are trying to pick my locks. Okay, called the police station, said, why are you trying to break into my house? They then said nothing to do with us. I called the local authority because they've got a team based with us where we move people around, and asked them, why are you not trying to break in my house? They said, nothing to do with us, but if you're still concerned, report to the local police station. My neighbour then calls me back and says, Gwenton, I don't know what you've just done, but they've run off and they're gone. So they were trying to break in. Because of the phone call or whatever happened, they got disturbed and they went off. I didn't think nothing of it. Got my CAD number to protect myself. And then the next thing, 4 days after, I've gone out moving witnesses. So someone being stabbed up and the family needed to be relocated. So I'm moving the family, come home, my house is smashed up. So I'm thinking to myself, wait a minute. Call the police, report it. This is Monday, the 8th of October, 2018. They raided me at 3:45. I was still moving witnesses for them and Lewisham Council up until 6 o'clock that night. So if they knew they raided me and thought I was a dangerous man, they should have stopped me working from Monday night.
Absolutely.
Tuesday, I went to work like nothing never happened. Every Tuesday, we have a multi-agency meeting with all the partners around the table. No one said anything again. Tuesday night, I then receive a call as I was on the way to Croydon to train the council in Croydon from a detective saying, what address, asking me what address is mine. So immediately I knew it was the police that went and smashed up my house. So I said, you should know what address you went and destroyed. Don't ask me any question. Locked off the phone. The man called me back again. So the man then phones me the next day saying, I'm here waiting for you. So I said, I didn't agree to meet you, whatever. We agreed to have a voluntary interview, meaning willingly walk in there.
Yeah.
I'm not under arrest or anything like that. On the 12th. Yeah? But what happens before the 12th? On the 10th of October 2018, I've called my line manager. Although I'm a consultant, I still let this person line manage me, even though technically she weren't my line manager. And said to her, look, the police have gone burgling my house because they stole stuff as well, so I'm calling it burglary, and looking for the person that used to live there before. And the way that I know that, because other people's houses got raided that day, people that I know as well. So the other professionals got raided that day.
Yeah.
Because of some, either they've worked with a kid or some connection.
So everybody connected with this kid was raided?
Was raided. The man then finds out that it's my address. He looked like he wanted to die in his chair because he knew they'd messed up. Yeah. Then said to me and my legal team, we won't have to speak to you again. And if we do, we will contact your legal team in the first instance. 2 weeks after that, I start getting calls from around the country. All my contracts nationally being pulled. I wasn't arrested for anything illegal in my house. Because remember, if they found anything illegal,
you'd have been arrested.
I would have been arrested and charged. So nothing illegal. Yeah. I was allowed to go. The 17th of October, I get an email from the crime reduction manager in Lewisham saying that a superintendent contacted her to say that my property was involved in a drug operation to do with drugs and weapons. Right. When I went in the police station, no one asked me about any drugs and weapons. They asked me about my address. So I then said to the borough commander, could you please not have this superintendent have anything to do with me because the man's running around spreading lies. And I'm sure it's him as well, nationally blacklisting me. And the reason why he's upset with me, because it's because of him, the 7-year-old died. Right. Because he set up this matrix, because he wanted to get a good name within the Met called the Savvy Matrix, which tracks drug dealers and not gang members. So because the older brother was not on the gang's matrix, they didn't put anything in place to protect the little boy. 2 days after that, the 19th of October, because they've now given my address to their suspects, I'm then issued an Osman warning on the 19th of October.
Osman warning is where you've been warned that your life is in danger.
Yeah. They offered me a panic alarm, treat all calls as urgent to my address, and a fireproof letterbox, which they should have given to the little kid's family that died. So they offered me one of them. Then they told me the best thing would be not to return to the area. I then got a temporary accommodation in Lambeth. Yeah. When I arrived in Lambeth, I contacted Dr. Councillor Mohammed Hashi, who also runs the Brixton Soup Kitchen, to say, look, I'm in Lambeth, I'm seeking refuge from the police in Lewisham because they're getting up to some stuff that I just don't understand. He then contacts the Deputy Mayor of Policing, Sophie Linden, to say Gwenton's in Lambeth and what has happened to Gwenton is outrageous and you need to look into this. Sophie Linden, the Deputy Mayor of Policing, then responds and says, thank you for bringing this to my attention. I will make sure that the professional standards looks into this. The reason why I'm emphasizing on that point is the Deputy Mayor of Policing knew that I was living in Lambeth. They then get a search warrant to raid me again. Right. They want to raid the same property that they gave me an Osman warning not to return to, that the Deputy Mayor of Policing, Sophie Linden, knew that I was not living in, and also to raid my car and one of my children's mums. They followed me. So my children's mum wasn't well. So she asked me to get her some stuff. So I've gone to Croydon. By the time I could stand up in the house, there was police at the door. Wow. So they raided my children's mum's house. At the same time, they've gone and bust down the door of my old property in Lewisham that they told me not to return to and raided there as well. They said to me, when I asked them what it is, they said, new evidence, They didn't read me my rights, nothing like that. Okay. They then went in my Audi, took my laptop that I just finished training council workers embarking with, and my iPad, and my phone that I was using to run my election, my campaign phone. They then took me to Plumstead police station where things got even more strange. They booked me in for no, they didn't even tell me what then. They said that we're doing raids. We're booking him in for concern to do with drug dealing, but we're doing raids at the moment. So don't give him no phone call or nothing, because we're raiding 2 properties. When they done a drugs test on me, came back negative. When we gone into the interview, there's no new evidence. They've brought the parking ticket and my laptop and my iPad that they just took out my car. They then put me back in the cell till midnight and then said, oh, we're going to bail you, but the only conditions is we don't want you to have contact with the young man that used to live at your property 5 years before. I don't care. It's not my business. They then bailed me till the 22nd of February. 22nd of February come, they say, oh, we need more time. To do what? I've given you the password to my laptop and iPad. You've got no other evidence. They then bailed me till April the 22nd. April the 22nd come, they're like, oh, we need another week. What do you need another week to do to find what you couldn't find all them months from October? So the 30th of April come, they're like, oh, we need to extend this again. We need to push it until May. May comes, 15th of May. They start panicking from the 13th. Oh, the CPS has got it from the 4th of April and struggling to charge him. How could you be struggling to charge someone that you've raided twice, claim you got new intelligence, new evidence, claim that I'm nationally dangerous?
Got your laptop, got your phone.
Got my laptop and phone, but something else that I haven't mentioned there. At the same time this is going on, I'm out with the same police at a senior level investigating all the murders.
At the same time.
How do you explain that? If I'm dangerous, why am I being allowed around sensitive information and moving witnesses around the country? So May's come, the 15th. Oh, the CPS can't come to a decision. Then they said, oh, could we have till the 17th? Today's the 17th of May.
That's right.
What have they done today?
Tell me.
The man tells me to come to the police station at 12 o'clock. But he doesn't start work till 2 o'clock.
Oh, gosh.
So he sends a panicking email in the morning saying, oh, the CPS is being really bad again and they can't find anything to charge you with. But you've just nationally blacklisted me. You claim you got all this evidence. Why am I from October, January,
February, March, April, May?
I'm still here. It's nearly June.
And can't work.
So I'm the most dangerous person in the country for 7 months. Not even terrorists get these sort of treatment. There's no ending date.
No.
But yet then they've made me look like, oh, I've committed some crime, misleading the public and everyone else, but now you're struggling to charge me. It don't make sense. And to me, I feel like this is a financial attack because look at it. The first thing they went after was my company, nationally, to shut me down so I wouldn't make money. Then, because they know that I'm not on legal aid for one of my lawyers, they're now trying to push it as far as they can.
To run your finances down.
So I'm going to run out of money, like what they do to these celebrities and these people that they wrongly accuse of these sex crimes. So I run out of money. And then once I run out of money, then they could then attack me. If I didn't have good people around me and good legal team, these people would have stitched me up. I would have been finished and no one wants to hear anything.
Yeah, exactly.
Because what they would have done is given me a plea deal to something I ain't done. And because of all the stress and everything, I would have took a deal and ended up in jail for no reason. How many people could financially survive for 8 months? Mentally survive for 8 months? No sort of amount of money could repair the damage. Not about money. It's not about money at all. I was working for a living. I even said to them, unblacklist me and I'll go to work. I don't care about nothing else. So it's not about the money. I don't care about that. At the end of the day, it's the damage that they've done. No charges. Their charges, not mine. So though they've put me on whatever thing they want, I'm not receiving that. I'm not accepting it. That's their business. And that's why I'm saying, please charge me so we could go in front of a judge
and put the matters.
And I could have my day in court.
Yeah.
They don't want to do that because I'm telling you now, it will be very embarrassing for them because I've got all my evidence. I just want to say thanks to the public for all their support and everything else. And for me, if you ever end up in a position like this, just protect yourself, try and record it, install CCTV in your house, in your car, because at any time you could be raided for any reason, and because you haven't got covert cameras, you could end up in prison for stuff that's nothing to do with you. For me, it's clear why this is happening, and it's a targeted approach, not by all the Met, a few individuals. And when you work with the local authority and the police, there's something called keep your mouth shut. So when you're seeing these little kids die in a knife crime and everything else, you meant to shut your mouth. I've shut my mouth for years, seen little kids die day after day, like 3 in one day and everything else. But when a 7-year-old's dying, somebody has to say something. If we all knew that their family was at risk, I couldn't live with myself just watching that.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, a lot of people should be losing their jobs. There should be a serious case review gone into that and everything else.
Well, there you hear it. How is it that a practitioner such as the quality of Gwenton Sloley can find himself facing what can only be described as consistent and routine harassment by the Metropolitan Police Service? You've extended his bail 7 times. He's had 2 incidents where he's collapsed with suspected heart attack, taken in to hospital to receive treatment. It's the same story over and again, whether it's workers in the NHS, whether it's people who are working for the police. Racism destroys lives. Racism leaves people feeling as if no justice is possible for them. And we have far too many examples of this. And Gwenton Sloley is one of the most profound. So I hope you keep watching the channel. We're going to continue to follow the Gwenton Sloley story, because I'm almost certain he's not going to face any charges. And that's going to be the biggest blow to the Met that we've seen in recent times, to having arrested a foremost anti-gang worker on nothing more than a personal vendetta will have a toxic effect and chilling effect on relations in London. You're watching Lee Jasper on Drive Time. Make sure you press the bell, subscribe, press like, because boy, this is an action-packed news channel. See you soon.